Dictation from progressive. Speed 80 words per minute. Ready? Start. After drafting the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, the Constituent Assembly has ceased to exist. Just as we are holding our national elections, they are going to hold elections in Jammu and Kashmir. You will see that we have thus made great advance not in the old sense of plebiscite but in getting people to elect their representatives. The new elections in the state will be held in a month or two. I am confident they will be fair and impartial. The Prime Minister of the Jammu and Kashmir government has invited foreign journalists and our own pressmen to see the elections for themselves. Last year, 70,000 tourists visited Kashmir. There is no iron curtain or any other curtain there. You can also go there, any of you, and see for yourselves. But what has happened on the other side? The area of Kashmir, which is occupied by Kashmir, Pakistan, has had no election. In fact, look at Pakistan itself. They have had no true election there for 9 years ever since they got Pakistan. They talk loudly about plebiscites elsewhere, but in their own country they have not been able to have true elections all these 9 years. After very great efforts, they prepared a constitution some months ago, but no elections have yet been held. Note that Azad Kashmir, that poor area, has had no chance of elections and it has been incorporated into Pakistan. That is another interesting thing for you to remember. There has been all this great fuss about the Jammu and Kashmir government framing its constitution, in which it reiterates a fact that has been there all along, namely accession to India. But when the Pakistan constitution incorporated that part of Jammu and Kashmir which is in their possession, nobody shouted. The Security Council did nothing at the time. All I can say is the Council has not applied its mind to this question. It is extraordinary for people to say that we have come in the way of plebiscite. No plebiscite could be held because none of the conditions was fulfilled. The plebiscite was to cover both sides. We got stuck even on the preliminary conditions of withdrawal of forces. The Pakistan forces had go to root and branch before further steps could be taken. This we have put with all earnest way to solve the present problem of Jammu and Kashmir. Meanwhile, a new development took place. The supply of arms to Pakistan in considerable quantities from the United States of America. The United States has every right to supply arms to Pakistan, and Pakistan, I suppose, has every right to take them. They are independent countries, and I have no right to object. But that supply of arms made a great difference to the situation in Kashmir. We told this to the Pakistan government and other governments, but we were told, I can believe their word, that these arms were not to be used against India and that they were intended to be used against aggression. I accept that. But how can even the great US government check their use? Every day I read in Pakistan papers exhortations to the effect, let us have war now that we are strong. They have heavy armor. They have plenty of the latest types of aeroplanes, and they live on a fear of hatred and violence. Naturally, this causes us concern. I do not want you to reply in kind. I do not want our students to do what the students in Pakistan did or are doing. As a responsible government, we have to take all these factors into consideration. They have built airfields in at various places, which is completely against the ceasefire arrangements or resolutions of the UN Council. The mere fact that all these big airfields have built apart from anything else is a serious matter. Nobody talks about these things because we have taken up as accommodating an attitude as possible. Our virtue in accommodation is forgotten. They try to bind us down to it. They tell us not to go into the past or into the question of aggression, but only to talk about the plebiscite to which they tell us we agreed. Even the conditions governing the plebiscite are forgotten. I say that this is most extraordinary. The welfare of vast numbers of human beings of Kashmir is involved, and I do not want any final decision which is against the interests of Kashmir people. I do not want to ask for a decision on a legal issue. But when I am charged with dishonorable practices, when the charge is made by Pakistan and to some extent by other countries that I have abrogated my commitments, I have a right to state what the legal position is. I am not overstressing it, but merely stating it. I have a right to demand a decision on this basic issue of aggression because it might recur at any time in Jammu and Kashmir. Stop.